welcome back to Car and Car Interviews. As always, I'm Liam Marcelino, and in the passenger seat of Mr. Brian Bafford's vehicle this time. So, just to kind of kick things off, what are we currently sitting in, Brian?
We are driving, or I'm driving, a Mk6 GTI.
2011, right?
Yeah, 2011 Volkswagen Mk6 GTI.
So even though I know the answer to this question, just kind of jumping right into it, what got you into cars? I'd say for like the first half of your life into now. Like what the two differences?
So my dad, as I said in the past couple of episodes, that he had a bunch of GTIs or Volkswagens in general. So growing up with seeing that and seeing that he not necessarily worked on his cars, because I was young. So, but seeing what he did after the fact with the cars, it was like something I always wanted to do. And with like, weird, but like, my dad always wanted me to play like racing games if I was gonna play video games, and seeing that, like experiencing different cars, and like I always wanted to drive the Volkswagens in the game. It was always like a weird thing for me. But growing up after that, and he sold his car, or his last GTI, which was a Mark IV 20th anniversary. I always thought about it, but I never really pushed to get into the car scene until I met this guy over here, and our friend group, who was predominantly in their prime of the car scene when I first, joined that group and everything. So going down to H2O in Ocean City and seeing all the different builds, it just made me want to, it like kind of just reminded me of that little thought in the back of my mind that I always wanted to, have my own car to build and everything.
Yeah, and it kind of goes for a good amount of us, I feel like, just, seeing other people do different things and whatnot. Was there any reason other than your dad that you wanted to jump into the car scene in a Mk6 or in a GTI in general?
I always liked hatchbacks. When I was a kid, like, other than my dad's GTIs, I always loved the Subaru STI hatchbacks. I didn't really like the sedans. I always loved the look of the hatchbacks, and my options other than this was the Speed 3, which is another hatchback. And then, yeah, pretty much that, or a Z, which isn't really.
So those are technically hatchbacks.
Yeah. I figured with what I chose, like I always have, like, I didn't know much, and I still don't know a lot. I'm still learning and everything. But I figured if I bought this car and I wanted to do stuff to it, I could get more than just my friends on board. I could get my dad, like he could be a little bit of a help, even though, like, when I wanted to buy a car, he didn't really want me to do anything to it. But once I buy parts, he's like so excited for it and everything.
Yeah, that's how my dad was.
So, yeah, after the Mark V, the Mk6 and Mk7 are beautiful looking cars.
Yeah.
So I was gonna get a Mk7. I was looking at one, but I figured, why spend more money and have more of a timeline on my build when I could go for less money and buy the Mk6 and get parts right off the bat, which obviously I ended up buying headlights in the first week that I had this car.
Yeah.
And an exhaust in the first month, and wheels in the first 3 or 4 months. And like before I before I even thought about buying a car, I always looked up like different parts for different cars, like what I would make it into.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was always looking up this car's different aftermarket parts and everything.
So what do you have done to this right now, as it sits?
So right now, like I said, headlights, exhaust, downpipe, rotiform BLQs on it. It's tuned with a Cobb, tuned by Cobb with this access port right here. I don't know if you can see that. But other than that, I mean, like little stuff like shift knob.
You have an intake on this?
I do have a cold air intake. What else?
Rev 9 coilovers, right?
Yeah, I have coilovers. I always forget about those. I don't know why.
I forgot who made them.
Yeah, I actually forgot the name of it. But yeah, and then another push towards getting this car was also like our buddy Christian, who will also be our first guest on this show next week. At the time he had a Mk6 GTI, loved the look of it and everything, and he obviously could help me out with, you know, like parts that he already had and wasn't going to use anymore. So I also have a blow-off valve on here, which actually ended up being the second thing that I got after the headlights.
Yeah, I remember it was shortly after you bought the car. How long have you had this? It's been over a year now.
Yeah, I just hit a year at the beginning of April. So year and a month, year and 2 months.
Yeah.
So far, I love this car. I mean, it's very with the stiff coilovers, it's, you know, jumpy and everything, but it's also like a very smooth ride at the same time. It's weird, but
it's comfortable.
Yeah, like it's got a lot of nice features like heated seats and everything. It's always a plus. But more to the stance thing, like there is like a long list of things that I have for this car, and some already ordered, but generally, like, my build timeline has been pushed back a couple of times. I know you guys have heard me say like, oh, like in 2 months this car's gonna look completely different, but like just with life and money and stuff, it's just like been pushed back a couple of times. So but this summer it's really gonna be different. I already had a couple of orders coming in, and after that I got to do wrap.
Yeah.
And then another thing I have is a Golf R bumper on here. Don't know how I forgot about that. Just put it on. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you've been moving pretty quick with it. I mean, you know, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing to my car took a lot longer. And that was not primarily due to money, but it was also like legal issues and stuff like that. And trouble that I had gotten into. So it's, you know, since then I'd kind of given up on it. So it's nice to still be able to wrench on something that I don't even own.
Sure.
And, you know, it's definitely a lot of fun. This thing's kind of giving us a run for our money here and there, but, you know, nothing too serious. Every car has its weird niche that, you know, of parts that don't want to fit.
Especially with German cars.
Yeah. I learned that pretty quick.
They do things very weird.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's just, you know, that's how it is. That's where they came from. So, yeah, I mean, you know, kind of touching back on, if you wouldn't have found this car for the price that you did, what do you think you would have bought instead? Like, as like a dead set thing? Like, was there another car that you would have looked at that day?
So I had 3 listings that were like favorited and everything. I kept on going back to them every day to make sure that they weren't bought yet. It was a maroon 2006 maybe 350Z.
Okay.
I think. I'm not sure about the year, but I know that you told me a specific 2 years that would be best for a 350. And I think it was one of those years. I had like little little short lists for them with everything I want to do with them, like not in depth or anything like I have now for this car. And then I also had a, I think it was a white, maybe? Yeah, it was a white first gen Mazda Speed 6, or Speed 3, sorry. All of them were manual, obviously. I wanted my first car to be a manual.
I don't think they sold the Speed 3 when
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I know that they sold the 350
and yeah, just those two. I mean, this was our first trip down to where we go, like Olney, I think.
Yeah, I passed the dealership, or no, I didn't pass the dealership. I passed somebody else's dealership the other day. Yeah, it was probably like what, an hour out, give or take.
Yeah, about an hour 15.
And it was smooth. I mean, you know, I bought it, or I didn't buy it. I drove it the whole way home, and it was comfortable, and you know, no hiccups, nothing. I think you're the second owner, right?
Yeah, I'm the third. Yes.
You're the third. That's right. Yeah. Because wasn't it like the owner of the dealership's son had it at one point or something like that?
Maybe, but all I know is whoever did have this car before. I mean, I bought it with 96,000 miles on it, and it's just like from there, like German car, especially Volkswagen, like once you hit 100,000 miles, usually you start to have problems. With this, like, it was smooth, it was clean, like the engine bay you can like eat off of. It's crazy.
It was super clean. The only thing that was weird when we went to go pick this up, I know, was that this car came with 17s on it.
Company, but like instead of keeping the stock 18s, he went with a smaller wheel.
Yeah, and just a slightly bigger tire.
Yeah, have a hatchback. I want like big wheels for it, not like 17s. They looked a little weird with this car.
Yeah, it definitely like caught my attention, you know, when we were at the dealership.
In my first H2O, you and I were walking back to your car that you drove at the time, which was not this.
Yeah.
And we passed an S2000, and you lost your mind over that thing, and I thought that was going to be it. What made you like go off of that path to bring you here?
So, like,
I guess just the S2000 path in general, because you definitely had a lot of interest in the S2000.
Yeah, just like the STI, I always loved the S2000, loved the way they looked, like loved the way people built them. And I know with any car that I've looked at, I know that my little touch could make it a little bit unique. So yeah, when we went to H2O and we saw that, it was just an S2000 and stock, had a for sale sign on the windshield, parked at, I think, like Burger King or something. But I called the guy on my way home from H2O because I left that day. And like he told me like 15 grand, like it was in the 70s for mileage. So I thought, you know, it's a pretty good deal. At that point, I didn't have the job that I do now, where I was making as much money. I think that was my junior year, so I don't even think I did
you
have.
were a freshman in college.
Was I? When
I was
year?
a junior in high school.
No, then I was
For
working
what?
at the last job.
My first H2O.
So I don't know. Nothing really pushed me away from that car specifically, or S2000 in general. But you know, I was on the phone with that guy for like 30-40 minutes, trying to like, you know, talk him down like a price, you know.
Yeah.
Because I did want that car. It was a good deal, especially if I can get him to lower the price.
Oh,
and it looked like it was in good condition.
Yeah, it looked good.
How much was it? What's the Ford?
15 grand.
How many miles are on?
70s. I think it was like in the 70s. And it was, the best part about it was a hardtop.
Oh, it had the hardtop on it?
Yes, it had a hardtop
So
on it.
that was probably a pretty damn good deal.
Which is, you know, for all the viewers out there, that is rare.
Yeah,
like, without doing it yourself, you know,
like it's expensive. Yeah, I mean, I had a guy text me off a Craigslist ad you're gonna have to remind me, my second or third year of H2O, And
your sophomore year of college.
Yeah, but I had somebody straight trade offer me a 240, and it had a CA18 turbo in it, I'm pretty sure, which is the 180 motor. So I was all for it, and he never responded. So if you're watching, I still want that 240.
So Brian, do you ever see yourself in an S2000 again? Or
of course. I mean, like, I know after I'm done with this build and it's paid off and everything, like, it's getting up in there in high mileage and everything. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's like, I put probably 20,000 miles on it in a year, in a month,
Yeah,
whatever.
That's like what you should do a year.
So, like, again, with German cars, Volkswagen especially, once they hit 100,000 miles, that's when the problems start happening.
You hit that 150 mark and it's really...
Yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not going to ever... I mean, this is not going to really be sellable after I'm done with it and everything. But,
yeah, I mean, especially with all the rules and regulations in this state.
Yeah, so, but... my next car will be a JDM car, and hopefully it would be a S2000, because I would absolutely die for one of those. But yeah, nothing else to it. I see myself in that car sometime in the future. Hopefully.
Definitely understand the like for those. They have a special place in my heart. I definitely like them a lot.
Yeah.
And they're good cars, especially if you get the first gen, because it's got the better motor.
Yeah, it's got the F20C, revs out to 9.
I don't know all your fancy numbers, I just know it's got the better motor.
Yeah, I know that the one that I was looking for when I was in the market for an S2000 was, I was looking for an 05, just because the end of 2005 is when they started putting traction control in Japanese cars, and it was around that time. I know that, you know, Christian's car, and, you know, who will be on the show soon, he just bought a 94 Lexus LS400, and that had traction control.
Yeah,
But,
that's crazy.
that was also
And heated seats.
Yeah, that thing was very ahead of itself. Yeah, but the 2005 had the F22C, which is the 2.2 liter that revved out a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But it still didn't have traction control. But it was a higher displacement motor, and I think it made like 15, 20 more horsepower.
Yeah, doesn't the earlier one like rev out to 8?
I think it's like 8,500.
Yeah, something stupid.
I know the TAC goes to like 10 essentially. It goes to 9 and some change, but yeah, no, I would love one of those things. I know that was a very well-known vehicle for its time period.
For sure.
Very underrated, in a sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it overrated by any means.
No.
Had a justifiable place in the JDM market.
It sits where it's supposed to.
Exactly, yeah. So, on the terms of like budgetless, what would be some immediate things you would do to this car?
Immediate, right now, like,
Yeah. Like
after
if money
everything.
did not exist.
Oh, if money did
Yeah,
not
so
exist.
it's like, yeah, budgetless, yeah.
I would sell my wheels, buy 3-piece rotoforms I already have in mind. I don't know what they're called. I think they're HAVs. Beautiful looking wheel. And with what I'm doing with the wrap, I'd probably honestly, like, if money didn't exist, I'd get it painted.
Yeah.
But I'm going with Nardo Gray. And so the black wheels, I think, would look really good with those. Or if I can get, like, I don't know, like rose gold, I think that would look really good.
White.
Like black, like
Barrel.
yeah, barrels with the face being rose gold. But I don't know. Then it would be side skirts, which are already ordered. I would be I'd probably take my car to a lighting shop you know, I know there's not a lot around us, but like I do know a couple people that like live out in California that like go to lighting shops, get their headlights, like at least their halos, to be able to like change color on command, everything. Yeah, it's like awesome. Which obviously expensive, so that's the route I would go. But without that money, I would be taking it apart myself and trying to figure out how to get them to go purple.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Bags?
Yeah, probably bags. I know the area we live in aren't great for bags, but I mean it definitely would help me in the long run with not, you know, messing up my car with one pothole once I do lower this thing more. You know, front splitter, side skirt splitters. I'm getting a diffuser custom made. I would get a Rev, I don't know what the company's called. I think it's Rev something. No. A rear bumper looks awesome. But I mean, all those things are pretty much things I'm gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
Even with the budget I do have now. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else I would do to this car other than, you know, like going wide, getting a wide body kit. Yeah, nothing much else to say about that because everything that if I didn't have the money for, or I mean if I didn't have like a budget, I'm still getting anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work for it and make this car look as best as possible in my eyes.
Yeah, that's a good call. I'm looking forward to it as well. Just seeing where it was, I mean, even to where it is now, it's a good looking vehicle. So I think it'll be interesting to see what else you end up doing. Any other ideas that you have? Do you have anything else you want to add, Kim?
I think I've, you and I, mostly you. I've added a few things, but I think I hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, nothing else off the top of my head. You have anything else you'd like to say?
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, you know, once these all come out, I think we got ourselves down to an okay schedule. It's just gonna be a matter of coordinating and everything else. So
Leave this stupid job.
yeah. So you know, we'll definitely make the time to stay consistent with everything. But other than that, I think it's just about it. So thank you for you know, taking time out of your day and doing this. You know, telling us a little bit about yourself, and we'll definitely do an update once, you know, things start getting done, once things go back to normal for the country and whatnot.
Don't know when that's gonna happen.
Yeah, but you know, hopefully at some point we'll be able to continue.
Like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram to keep up with our builds.
Not so much mine,
but yeah,
I'm just
follow.
building it back together.
If you want to see my build throughout the whole process, follow me on Instagram. And
we'll leave all that stuff down below. And follow King's photography.
oh yeah, for sure.
Photography.
His build is also going to be on there, and a reveal video coming.
Yeah,
We're going to do some pictures of Colton Haynes' car very soon.
Yeah.
That was supposed to happen last weekend, but we got a little sidetracked.
Yeah. That's how it goes. But yeah, I look forward to everybody else we have on the show. Let us know if there's somebody not